Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, but more specifically, we're going to be doing the majority of our technical analysis on the altcoin markets. What we're going to be doing in this video is running down the top 10 list here on CoinMarketCap and doing TA on everything from Ethereum to Monero. We will be excluding Tether. If you guys want a dedicated technical analysis video on Tether, feel free to request one in the comment section down below. But in this video, we're going to be talking about Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Stellar, Litecoin, Cardano, and Monero. So if you guys are interested in my take on any one of those altcoins, you came to the right video. So without much further ado, I suppose let's just go ahead and get right into it. Like I said, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin here to start with, because there's a few things I want to talk about, but Bitcoin hasn't really been doing a whole lot over the last couple of days, and today is really no different. What we have seen Bitcoin do is come down to this level of around $6,450 and get a strong little bounce here. Over the last 4 hours from when I'm recording this anyway, Bitcoin has managed to climb a little bit, and we are back in this zone of support / resistance in between about $6,500 and $6,600. I talked about in yesterday's video, which you can watch in the top right, about why I believe Bitcoin is going to pull back somewhere between about $6,400 to about $6,300. I was looking for Bitcoin to pull somewhere down here to this uptrend of support right here, but I also said there's a definite possibility that we don't even have to go that far before having a little bounce here, because Bitcoin, like I've said in yesterday's videos and in many other videos, Bitcoin hasn't really had a lot of volatility lately, and today is really no different. One thing I do want to point out on Bitcoin is that, kind of corroborating what I talked about yesterday, and kind of substantiating, perhaps I should say, what I talked about in yesterday's video, that I believe Bitcoin is going to be going a bit lower from here down to this uptrend, is that Bitcoin is actually looking at a bearish MACD cross. As you can see, the MACD line is starting to come down here and about to touch the actual signal line and maybe about to cross below it. That wouldn't really be great for Bitcoin, but that kind of would help Bitcoin to come back down to this uptrend of support and come down here and get support. And if it came down here and bounced north and started bouncing bullish, I think that would definitely help bring back some of that volatility that Bitcoin has lost here over the last couple of days. Like I said, not a whole lot that I wanted to discuss on Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin, okay, all right, maybe I'm wrong. Let's check what just happened. Bitcoin just moved like $40 while I was talking about. Well, anyway, what I was going to say is that I think Bitcoin was probably going to pull back down here somewhere around this uptrend, but nevertheless, actually, it's moving up from here. Perhaps this will be another one of those videos where we see Bitcoin do something major and completely ruin my train of thought and do something that I didn't expect it was going to do, and I have to completely change what the video is about. I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, let's go ahead and get on to the crypto market recap, and then we'll go ahead and get on to the actual individual altcoin technical analysis. As we can see here, Bitcoin is currently trading at around $6,518, but since we're looking at Bitfinex here, it's actually trading a bit higher. That actually may go up above $6,600, guys. Sometimes you see the market move very, very quickly, and when it does kind of run away like this, when we're looking at extremely low volume in the wee hours of the day, when most of the West is asleep, the West Coast is still awake right now, but I'm recording this at 9 o'clock at night, so there's definitely a possibility that Bitcoin gets above $6,600 right here. But my point is, Bitcoin's currently trading below $6,600, and I'm not even going to read what the change over the last 24 hours is, because of course that is moving as we speak. But nevertheless, the altcoin market is doing all right. We do see a couple of good gainers here. We see a Sia coin, Odysseus, and Noah coin up over 10%, but we do also see some losers. Eternal token down by about 17%. I've talked about in previous videos about how when you see the same coin either at the top or the bottom of this list, that's typically an indication that you're looking at a very volatile coin. Eternal token almost always seems to be one of the biggest gainers or one of the biggest losers, so that's a coin that you may look at for some volatility trading and look at for some actual major moves that you could trade in the future for some good gains. That's a little pro tip for you if you guys are looking for what altcoin you might want to be trading. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit more about the altcoin market, and then we'll get into the individual TA. Ethereum is currently trading a little bit above $220. It would be very nice if Ethereum was trading at $2,000, and it's down by about 2% over the last 24 hours. XRP is currently trading around 50 cents and is up about 1.5% over the last 24 hours. Nothing really to write home about, but something I do want to discuss is the actual Bitcoin dominance. We've talked about in previous videos, and I'm going to talk about again how important it is that Bitcoin's dominance has started to drop off here over the last month or so. And mainly, one thing that we have to keep in mind is that Bitcoin did top out here at around 58% on its market dominance, and it did start to come down here. We have seen Bitcoin's dominance start to tail off, and I talked about this several months ago. I talked about how I wanted to see Bitcoin's dominance start to come down so that we could see some volume move into the altcoins, because I was thinking that the altcoins were going to be the ones that were going to try and be able to push Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptocurrency market north and start a new bull run, and I still stand by that. But one thing that we have to keep in mind about Bitcoin losing dominance here is that it's not really in a very healthy way, or perhaps I should say not in a very well spread out way, because most of this dominance that Bitcoin has lost has not gone individually into many different altcoins. Most of it has gone into XRP. As we can see, XRP has gained a lot of dominance right here, and hopefully you guys were watching this tab because Bitcoin did just get back up above $6,600, but I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, what I was talking about is that Bitcoin has lost a lot of its dominance, and it has mostly gone into XRP, but I would like to see some of the other altcoins start to continue getting their momentum back and start to continue moving up from here, because I would like to see the altcoins start moving up, because like we've also talked about, it's very nice to see when the altcoins are moving, because the altcoins can move much faster than Bitcoin can. One other thing that I want to talk about is how far retraced the altcoins are from their all-time high, guys. I'm very, very happy with where the altcoins are right now for long-term investing. I've talked about why I'm bullish on Bitcoin for the medium term and bearish for the short term, although that may be getting changed right now as Bitcoin is having one of its little inverse cliff dives and decided to jump on a rocket ship. Maybe we'll talk about that some more in just a second. I'd like to see that calm down a little bit before I get too invested in the TA on that. But anyway, I do want to talk about how the altcoins are very far retraced from their all-time high right now, guys. If you go to athcoinindex.com, what you can see is how far retraced all of the altcoins are from their all-time high, and it's actually very staggering how far they're retraced. Ethereum's down about 85% from its all-time high. XRP is down by about 86% from its all-time high, and it was down about 93% from its all-time high not that long ago. Bitcoin Cash is down 88% from its all-time high. EOS is down 75% from its all-time high. These are looking like very good places to be investing for the long term, guys. And let me make something very clear. All of these altcoins may deserve to be this far below their all-time high, but you have to remember, they did go to that all-time high. They did do it once, and there is definitely a precedent that says they could do it again, because not only have many of these altcoins continued to develop over the last couple of months, over the course of 2018, many of them, especially in the top 10, have continued to improve and have had their underlying intrinsic value continue to rise. Not only that, when the next bull run comes, the next bull run is going to be even bigger than the one we've already seen. So many of these altcoins, if they can survive into the next bull run, are going to look like from those peaks as very, very good investment opportunities right now. Keep that in mind. These are all very good buys for the long term, at least in my opinion, if you believe that these altcoins will, at the very least, survive into the next bull run. I think you can make money on just about anything. You can throw a dart at this list, especially the one that's on screen right now, not just the top 100, and you will probably do pretty well in the next 2 years or so. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination telling you what to buy or to buy at all. I am just giving you guys food for thought because it may be good for you guys to go and think about this. Now, Bitcoin is currently getting back up above $6,600, which is very interesting. Like I talked about, I was expecting Bitcoin to come back down here, and we talked about in a previous video how I was looking for Bitcoin to come back to somewhere between around $6,400 on the 20 daily simple moving average. I'll go ahead and do a bit more Bitcoin technical analysis on here because we have actually had some live price action happen before us. What I was expecting is for Bitcoin to come down here and get support in between this 20 daily simple moving average or this uptrend. I was hoping for it to get support somewhere in here, and it looks like now it has actually gotten support. Now, of course, that's getting above $6,600, as you can see, has happened in literally the last 5 minutes. So this is by no stretch of the imagination confirmed, but this is definitely nice. Go check your charts and see what this looks like now, because this video is recorded a few hours before the video actually goes live. We may be far north of $6,600, and if we are, I will definitely be talking about that in more depth in tomorrow's video. That's what the subscribe button and the notification bell is for, guys. But finally, now that we finally got everything out of the way, we can finally get on to my opinion on individual altcoins. Let's go ahead and do that and start with Ethereum. Ethereum had a very, very good run in 2017. Ethereum started 2017 trading at $8. Ethereum started 2017 trading at $8. Let me rephrase that. Ethereum started trading 2017 at $8, and it ended 2017 around $1,400. It actually ended 2017 around $7,500, but I'll consider January 11th when it actually hit all-time high at the end of the year for the sake of argument. Ethereum ran a very long way, and we're still up like 30 times from where Ethereum was at the beginning of the year before of the last year. Ethereum has done very well, and many of these altcoins have as well. What we have to keep in mind is we have to keep perspective and realize that even though many of these altcoins have not done very well, as is evident by the all-time high coin index here in the year of 2018, they're still doing phenomenally well considering how far they've run from their actual lowest valuations, not only 2 or 3 years ago, not even a year ago for many of these for many of these number one altcoins. We're looking at very inflated prices compared to where we've seen, so we have to keep that in mind. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and do some short-term technical analysis on Ethereum, and I'll talk about the kind of broader altcoin markets here in just a little bit as well. But one thing I wanted to point out on Ethereum is that Ethereum is currently in a consolidation pattern. I forget which video because I didn't do a dedicated Ethereum video on this, but in one of the videos in the last week or so, Ethereum was trading up here. I believe the video went up on the 28th or the 27th, the 28th or the 29th. You can see right up here, Ethereum was trading right up here, and I was talking about how I wanted Ethereum to come down to this uptrend and get support, and I specifically remember making this formation and saying this time right here was going to be critical for Ethereum, because if we broke this, then we were going to probably come down to $200, and if we bounced here, we're probably going to come up here and test this downtrend of resistance, and we'll more than likely get through it. And it looks like that's exactly what's happening. Ethereum has actually managed to come down here and has started to get a bounce, and over the last couple of minutes, with the exuberance we've seen from Bitcoin in this video that you actually watch happen live, with the exuberance that we've seen, Ethereum has actually had a very strong bounce here and is moving up north towards this downtrend of resistance. At this point, I think Ethereum is going to break this, and when it does, I think it's going to be very, very good for Ethereum. Let's go ahead and look at potential price targets while we're here. If we turn our moving averages on, typically moving averages are some of the easiest places that you will find that a market may get resistance. We do see the 50 simple moving average right here around $250, and $250 would make a lot of sense for a level of resistance. It's not that far above us. One thing we also have to keep in mind is that Ethereum is back below the 20 exponential moving average. I very much want Ethereum to get above this level and stay above this level, because it's been quite some time since Ethereum has managed to stay above this level for a prolonged period of time, and the last time that Ethereum was above this level for a prolonged period of time was back over here in April. And normally when you're above the 20 exponential moving average, you are in a rally. Normally, when you're below the 20 exponential moving average, you're in a downtrend. You guys have probably heard me say that about 500 times by now, and it's a very important exponential moving average to be looking at. It's a very important indicator that I use in a lot of my technical analysis, and it looks like Ethereum, hopefully anyway, is about to be getting back up above it, and that would be very bullish for Ethereum indeed. What I'd like to see happen also is I'd like to see this MACD line start to get a little bit further away from the signal line, because the signal line is moving up very quickly. I want to see the MACD line get a little bit further away and see the histogram start widening a little bit more, so that we're not in danger of a bearish MACD cross, and that will hopefully help to bring Ethereum back up to these levels, up somewhere around $400. I see a lot of potential gains in Ethereum, but only really if we get above the 20 exponential moving average on the daily chart and get a bullish breakout of this consolidation pattern. Watch out for those patterns, because I think those are going to be important on Ethereum over the next couple of days. And if you're wondering why I'm doing Ethereum over US dollar technical analysis and why I'm not doing Ethereum over Bitcoin technical analysis, I can show you the Ethereum over Bitcoin chart, but a lot of it's pretty similar. We see kind of this consolidation pattern, and we're below the 20 exponential moving average. And one of the reasons I look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, and also Litecoin over US dollars, is because they're very commonly traded over US dollars on exchanges like Bitfinex and also on Coinbase. That's one of the reasons I like to do that, in case anyone was wondering. Anyway, from now let's go ahead and get on to some XRP technical analysis. That's going to become a joke on the channel now, me calling XRP Ethereum. I've done that so many times. I called it Bitcoin in yesterday's video. Anyway, I'm sorry, XRP. You've just been so boring for 2018 that I forgot about you because you've been losing so much valuation. I'm just insulting everybody in today's video. Anyway, I almost said it again. XRP has been doing very well over the last couple of weeks here. Ever since around mid-September, it has been having a very, very healthy rally and has been doing very well for itself. But one thing I want to bring to your attention and have you guys keep in mind is that XRP has done very, very well over the last 2 or 3 weeks, but really hasn't had a major correction to compensate for that. You guys got to remember that I do believe the bear market that we're in is coming to a close, but you also have to realize we're still in a bear market. We do need to see some kind of correction here, and it does look like that may be about to happen, as we are seeing a bearish cross on the MACD for XRP over US dollars, and a very similar thing is true for XRP over BTC. In fact, we've already seen it. Both of these charts are very, very similar right now because Bitcoin's trading sideways. But what I'm expecting for XRP to do from here, I almost called it Ethereum again. What I'm expecting XRP to do from here is probably come back down to this 45-cent level, or this the 7,000 Satoshi level on XRP over Bitcoin. I would like to see XRP come down to those levels at least and try and get some support down there. If we bring out Fibonacci, we can also look at some areas where we may see XRP come down and get support. We may see it come down to around 46 cents, which would line up with the 38.2% Fibonacci level as a level of support when it is actually retracing. I would like to see Ethereum I'm just going to stop doing YouTube now. I would like to see XRP come back down to these levels because XRP definitely has had a very healthy run. And based on the bearish MACD cross that we're looking at, it may definitely be coming down from here. Anyway, I'm going to move on to a different altcoin that I'm not going to call Ethereum. I will not be calling Bitcoin Cash Ethereum. I apologize for that. Anyway, Bitcoin Cash is definitely looking a lot better than XRP is right now. As we can see, Bitcoin Cash, I can't speak today, guys. I apologize. Sometimes it's you gotta realize I do these videos all in one take, and sometimes it is just difficult for me to articulate myself, and it seems today is one of those days. Anyway, Bitcoin Cash has actually managed to pull back a little bit and is currently trying to get support on the 20 exponential moving average. You guys know how important this moving average is to me. I don't need to restate it. I already talked about it on the Ethereum TA, but one thing I also want to bring to your attention is that we do see bullishness on the MACD. If we look at our moving averages, what I'd like to see Bitcoin Cash do is continue to get support at these levels on the 50 simple moving average and the 20 exponential moving average. If it can get a good strong bounce here and continue north, I would very much like to see it come up here and break this 100 simple moving average, and I do think it probably will do that based mainly on what Bitcoin is doing. A lot of these altcoins really follow Bitcoin, so if Bitcoin is looking healthy, so too will the altcoins. Moving on to another altcoin, which I'm a very big fan of, is EOS, and there are actually some chart formations that I want to show you on EOS. Let's go ahead and get rid of the moving averages here for a second anyway. And if we come in here to the hour chart, what we're going to see is that EOS over US dollars is currently in a consolidation pattern. You guys know how big of a fan I am of consolidation patterns, and this is a prime example of one. EOS right here has been in this consolidation pattern for the better part of the last 2 or 3 weeks, and right now we're seeing it come to a close. Both of these trend lines are going to be crossing in the next couple of days, and EOS is more than likely going to be breaking bullish, and I do think it will be breaking bullish. I'll show you why in just a second. I think EOS is going to be breaking bullish out of this, but no matter what it does, what I am going to tell you guys that you may want to consider doing is keep an eye on this chart, and when you do actually see a breakout either above the downtrend of resistance or below the uptrend of support, that would be a very good time for you guys to potentially put a trade in on EOS. I'm definitely going to be watching this and trying to catch this, but one thing you have to keep in mind is that until you see the breakout, be very, very careful making a trade on a consolidation pattern. Both of these trend lines have a very similar degree. This is probably about 30 degrees down. This is maybe 35 or 40 degrees up, and what that means is that there's really just a 50-50 shot what EOS will do with this. Now, to keep that in mind, we are seeing this come in the midst of some more sideways trading action. Normally, if this were in the middle of a rally or a downtrend, you could use that as a continuation pattern. But since we've really seen this begin at the tail end of some sideways trading, we can't really tell which way this is going to go. I do think it's going to go north. Hopefully, if we do see this bearish MACD cross on the daily chart, that very well may bring us down. Really, one thing you also have to keep in mind about consolidation patterns is that when you get this tight and when you get this very close to the end of them, a lot of randomness can come into whether or not you break bullish or bearish. You can see one whale come in here and do a lot and move the price a very long way and break either the downtrend of resistance or the uptrend of support and really wreak havoc on the market. What I would be very careful of doing is putting a trade in before you see a breakout, but when you see a breakout with volume, you turn volume on here and you see a big volume candle and you see a lot of price action movement, that may be a good time to either put a long in, or if you can find somewhere to short EOS, then maybe short EOS. But if you can manage to buy EOS on a breakout, then you may be able to make some good gains. Like I said, I'm not telling you to do that, but that is something that you may want to consider because you can make a lot of money on consolidation pattern breakouts. Anyway, now for why I was talking about why I think if EOS very well may be breaking bullish, and that would have to do with the 20 exponential moving average. Right now we're above it. Now, one thing we have to keep in mind also is that we are looking at a bearish MACD cross, and like I said, this can really go either way. Based on how I feel about Bitcoin and the rest of the altcoin market in general, I do think we're going to see this break bullish, but time will tell. I have no way of saying that for certain. I do think that we're going to see it break bullish. If we do see it break bullish, if we do see it break bearish, what I think we're going to see EOS do is pull back down to this level of somewhere around $4. We've seen EOS hold some very strong support down here in the past. Anyway, that's basically all we wanted to talk about on EOS. We have a couple more altcoins to get to, and then we're going to wrap the video up. The next one that I wanted to talk about is XLM, and I meant to do a dedicated video on this. I know some people were bashing me, and not bashing me, but wondering where the dedicated video that I mentioned for Stellar Lumens was that I mentioned a week or two ago. and I didn't fit it into the schedule. I apologize, but what we saw Lumens do, and what I've been keeping up with Lumens for so long, was Lumens was in this very, very long consolidation pattern of kind of abnormal. Normally you don't see a consolidation pattern that continues on for literally 10 months, but that's exactly what we saw here. Lumens came in here and it was in a very tight consolidation pattern. It got pretty tight down here. We were looking for a cross within the next month, and we did actually get a bullish breakout of this. I didn't manage to catch this trade, but I was hoping to catch this trade. I just didn't see it. But if you had managed to watch Lumens get above this downtrend of resistance, you could have made some very good gains here. I was trying to catch a breakout over here. I unfortunately didn't catch it because we didn't get the breakout, and I missed it on this one because go figure I did. But nevertheless, we did see Lumens come up here and get a very nice little rally, and now we're coming down and hopefully are going to get support on this 20 exponential moving average. One thing you want to keep in mind, though, in a very similar fashion to EOS, is that we do want to see Lumens hold support on the 20 exponential moving average, but we're looking at a bearish MACD cross, guys. It's kind of a coin flip which direction Stellar Lumens is going to go right now, at least on the technicals, so keep that in mind when you're doing your own technical analysis. I'm not really sure where Lumens is going to go from here. We have just seen a bullish breakout of a consolidation pattern, so that would lead me to believe that we're going to continue moving north and see some more follow through from this, but that can really go just about either way right now. With that in mind, let's go ahead and move on to Litecoin. Then we have ADA and XMR to get onto, and that's going to do it for the video. I was hoping to do technical analysis on all 10 altcoins, and I think we're going to manage that in today's video. Apologies if today's video is a bit longer. Of course, we do have a lot to talk about in today's video. Now, as far as Litecoin is concerned, if we come in here to the hourly chart on Litecoin over US dollars, and like I said, I am going to be doing some TA on Litecoin over US dollars because of how many people trade over it and how many people look at it, in my opinion anyway. What we saw Litecoin doing is it was holding this uptrend of support right here, and I was hoping that Litecoin would hold this. Unfortunately, we did not. As you can see, we broke bearish out of it, but Litecoin over the last hour since I'm recording this is moving up, and we very well may be back up above this by the time this video goes live, especially if Bitcoin does continue moving north and stays above $6,600. I have this weird feeling in my gut that we're not going to, but we will definitely see when tomorrow comes, actually. But hopefully Litecoin can get back up above this uptrend and continue up from here, because this is a very healthy and a very nice looking uptrend. One problem that I have with Litecoin that I've had for a long time is that Litecoin really doesn't differentiate itself that much from Bitcoin, and that's a big problem, because when you see the altcoins not doing that well, what altcoin is going to do the worst? Well, the altcoin that's probably going to do the worst is the altcoin that has been replaced by another bigger altcoin. Let me say that again. When you see the altcoins not doing very well, you're probably going to see the one that is less differentiated from a bigger altcoin not doing very well. And that's why Litecoin, in my opinion anyway, has lost so much of its valuation. We're down 85% from all-time high when Bitcoin is only down 67% from all-time high. We've seen so much value run out of Litecoin. And part of the problem with Litecoin is a fundamental one, and that is that Litecoin does not differentiate itself enough from Bitcoin. One of the big selling features for Litecoin in 2017, which is why, in my opinion anyway, why Litecoin almost 100x'd in 2017, starting the year trading at $4 and ended the year trading at $400, was because of the low transaction fees and the faster block times. Well, one of those is basically irrelevant now because there's so little clutter on the blockchain that Bitcoin transaction fees are negligible again. They were up like $50 for transaction fees in December of 2017, but because so many people have left the space, transaction fees on Bitcoin are like 2 cents again. I've been accepting Bitcoin payments for the course. They're very, very cheap, and it's really just not that big a deal anymore. And confirmation time, I don't believe, was as big a problem for people as the exorbitant transaction fees were. And that's one of the things that has really been hurting Litecoin over the last couple of months, in my opinion, is the fact that Bitcoin has returned to its actual state of an actual currency rather than this kind of virtual gold we were trying to make it out to be when its transaction fees were $60 or $70 per transaction. That's one of the problems I have with Litecoin, but I do think Litecoin definitely does still have a purpose, and I do still think Litecoin is going to do very well. Litecoin is one of the oldest altcoins, guys. If you come back on tools right here and you go into not the watch list, excuse me, if you go into the historical snapshots, you'll see at the oldest historical snapshot on CoinMarketCap, Litecoin was here. Litecoin has been here for a very long time, and Litecoin I don't think is going anywhere. But with that in mind, I do think it's going to underperform Bitcoin until a major bull run starts, simply because it doesn't differentiate itself enough. With that in mind, let's go ahead and keep moving on here. We have ADA to talk about, then XMR, then we're going to go ahead and wrap the video up. One thing that I'm very happy about with ADA, Cardano, is it set a very, very strong bottom down here. It came down here to around 1,000 Satoshis, which is the big even to end all big evens. 1,000, something with 1 and a couple of zeros following it is just a major big even. $10,000, $1,000, $100,000, 1,000 Satoshis, 10,000 Satoshis. These are all very major big evens, and we saw ADA come down here and get support at a big even of 1,000 Satoshis. I'm very happy about that because what I've been hoping for ADA to do for most of the year was set a proper bottom, and I had thought ADA had set a proper bottom up here at 2,000 Satoshis, and I actually put a trade in here with a very tight stop. Luckily, I had that stop because ADA lost another 50% of its valuation, pulling all the way down to 1,000 Satoshis, but at least for the time being anyway, that does look like that's going to be the bottom for the year. If and only if the altcoin market in general does manage to pick up. Now, like I said for the altcoin technical analysis on a couple of other altcoins, it's very important that these altcoins that the altcoin market in general continues to do well and does actually start doing better than it has been for the last couple of months for many of these altcoins to actually perform, because you have to remember, many of these altcoins move in tandem. They don't move individually. Many of them are correlated to each other and to Bitcoin. So a lot of them, how they're going to do isn't so much based on their own technicals as it is based on the technicals of many other altcoins, and especially Bitcoin. But with that in mind, I do think 1,000 Satoshis is a very strong level of support for Cardano. I would like to see Cardano stay above the 20 exponential moving average. Right now, we're trying to come back below it. Hopefully that does not happen, and hopefully we also don't see this bearish MACD cross, which is definitely looming on the horizon. If that does happen, there's nothing wrong with Cardano coming down here and getting another test at 1,000 Satoshis. I would like for that to hold, although it doesn't necessarily have to. We could very easily see Cardano go lower. I think for the time being anyway, until something changes, I think that's going to hold. Now, let's go ahead and get on to the last altcoin. This has definitely been a very long video. I apologize for you guys who don't like long videos, but of course, you guys can jump around to whatever part you want. But I do want to go ahead and talk about XMR then. I think this is a good one to go ahead and end on, because one thing that we've seen with XMR is that XMR, to start with, is another one of those very old altcoins. XMR is not as old as Litecoin, but Monero has definitely been around the block, and we have a lot of price action that we can look at when we're doing our TA on XMR. And one thing that you see when you're doing technical analysis on XMR over Bitcoin is that we do have this kind of vague uptrend right here, which definitely holds a lot of importance simply because of how long it's been in effect. This uptrend is nearly 2 years old, guys. You don't see very many technical patterns in the cryptocurrency space that are 2 years old. And what we see here is we see an uptrend of support, and that's very bullish. And that's, in my opinion anyway, one of the reasons why XMR is still actually in the top 10. When it had dropped quite a bit further down, we actually managed to get support on this uptrend. And what we've done in the short term is also very interesting. If you come in here to the hour chart, what we see XMR doing is actually it's in an ascending triangle pattern. After running, we've had an uptrend run into an ascending triangle pattern, which is actually a very bullish thing. We see a flat top up here around 1.9 million Satoshis on Bitcoin, and we also see an uptrend right here. What I think is probably going to happen here is that XMR is going to set a bottom down here somewhere. Now, you have to remember, this is only the second touch, so this isn't necessarily the actual degree of this uptrend. This could actually just end up being something like this, and we trade a bit sideways. But whenever XMR sets a bottom in here, assuming that it's above about 1,500 Satoshis and we do see a higher low, we're going to be setting an ascending triangle pattern in motion, and that's going to be pushing us back up against this level of resistance up here around close to 2 million Satoshis, and I do think that's going to cause us to break that, and we're going to see a lot of bullish price action coming out of XMR. Definitely watch for that, because like we talked about on, I believe it was EOS, when you see a consolidation pattern break, normally that's one of the easiest trades you can make, guys. There's so much money to be made on breaking consolidation patterns. They happen very quickly, so you have to be watching them, and you have to get in on them very quickly. When you do, though, there's a lot of money to be made, and XMR is by no means an exception to that rule. Take a sigh. That was a long video, 27 minutes in, guys. I think we finally made it through. I managed to do technical analysis on every single altcoin except for Tether. The video is already way over time. Let's go ahead and do some technical analysis on Tether, shall we? US dollar Tether over US dollar Tether. Let's see. How are you doing today? Okay, well, it's not doing very good. That's your technical analysis for US dollar Tether over US dollar Tether. If you guys are interested in my take on the US dollar Tether markets, I did an April Fool's video where I did TA on US dollar Tether. I'll link that video on the top right. I thought that was a very funny video. I was very happy about that. I've been planning that for months when that actually did come around. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys got some good value out of this video, and it definitely was fun watching Bitcoin get above $6,600 live. When you heard me pause there for about 5 seconds, because the reason I paused there is because I thought I was about to scrap the recording. I was like, you know, nah, that's all right. We'll just keep going. And that was I'm definitely glad I did, because the video turned out pretty well in my opinion. If you thought so, definitely consider dropping a like and hitting that subscribe button, guys. And like I said a couple videos ago, if you didn't like the video, that's what the dislike button is for. Go ahead and hit that dislike button. And if you really didn't like the video, go ahead and hit the dislike button twice. That's how you do it. That's how you'll make sure that I know you didn't like the video. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this video. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.